You were never meant to chase money. You were never meant to strain, grasp, or barter your soul to barely keep afloat. That belief, that wealth is a scarce reward for hard labor or rare luck, is not divine law. It is hypnotism. And today I come to break the spell. You are not a beggar. You are not a gambler hoping for favor. You are the living vessel of infinite supply. Your good is not out there, dangling beyond reach. Your wealth is not held back by the economy, your background, your education, or your past. It is held only by your belief. I speak to the part of you that has been quietly suffering, the one who believes they must earn worthiness, deserve support, or prove themselves before abundance arrives. That voice is not of God. That voice is not of truth. It is the voice of collective illusion, but I come bearing a higher tone, a rhythm of certainty, a frequency of divine provision. The moment you align your word with truth, the substance of wealth begins to form, not by might, not by manipulation, but by spiritual law. You do not draw wealth by worry. You do not unlock prosperity through panic. You command it by declaring your oneness with the source. Your mind has been trained to scan for lack, to monitor the absence of money, the delay of results, the rising fear that it may never change. But that training is not fixed. It is not law. It is simply repetition. And what was trained by fear can now be retrained by truth. You are not a servant of money. You are the master of it when you walk in divine identity. When your words align with the vibration of spirit, money must appear, not as a favor, but as a reflection, not as a transaction, but as a demonstration. So I say to you now, in the authority of spiritual law, your wealth is not waiting in the world. It is waiting in your word. Your bank account cannot reveal what you have not declared. Your job cannot deliver what your soul has not claimed. Your circumstances are not supply. They are the result of your consciousness of supply. Train the mind, and the world rearranges. Align the word, and substance rushes to meet it. I speak from experience. I have seen the tide of wealth turn with a single declaration. I have watched the gates of supply open in response to one bold word of faith. I have seen the miraculous become ordinary when someone dared to say, I no longer chase money. I attract it. I magnetize it. I speak it. And because I do, it comes. This is not a game of luck. This is a science of spirit, a spiritual system governed by exact law, a law that never fails when spoken in faith. So prepare yourself, for in the next 30 minutes, I will teach you to train your mind, not through willpower or effort, but through spiritual dominion. I will show you how to speak in rhythm with abundance, how to dissolve the patterns of poverty, and how to open your storehouse of divine wealth. This is not theory. This is truth. This is not motivation. This is law. And if you walk with me, if you declare what I instruct, believe what I reveal, and act as one who already receives, then your wealth will no longer be a question. It will be a consequence. Are you ready? Then let us begin. Wealth is not a reward. Wealth is not a prize at the end of effort. Wealth is law, and law does not require emotion, struggle, or worthiness. It requires agreement. You cannot earn spiritual supply, for it was already yours before you were born. What you call money is only the visible form of an invisible truth, and that truth is this: God is your supply, not your employer, not your family, not your talent. God alone is your source. And every stream, every channel, every manifestation of wealth must obey that truth when you speak it with authority. This is the law of prosperity. It is not a wish. It is not a hope. It is a divine structure, a covenant that cannot be broken. The law of prosperity states that what you affirm in spirit must appear in substance. When you declare your wealth in faith, the vibration is set and the manifestation begins. But the law does not move until you speak. It does not rearrange until you declare. There is no wealth without word, no abundance without affirmation, no prosperity without possession of thought. You must take it in the invisible before it appears in the visible. Let us also remember the law of substitution. This is the law that governs thought. It states that you cannot think two thoughts at once. If you are thinking of lack, you cannot simultaneously think of abundance. Therefore, to eliminate poverty, you do not fight it. You replace it. You substitute the thought. You deny the appearance. You install the truth. When fear of bills rises, you do not spiral. You declare, every bill is paid by divine supply. When doubt whispers, you'll never have enough, you answer, my wealth is unlimited, for God is my inexhaustible source. And the law obeys your higher thought. What you dwell upon grows. What you fear, you feed. What you declare, you demonstrate. There is no neutral ground in spirit. Every word is a seed, and every thought is soil. You cannot declare abundance in the morning and worry about money by noon and expect results. That is double-mindedness. And the scripture says clearly, a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. So you must become single-minded in wealth. You must become loyal to your declaration. You must choose the vibration of riches and deny the suggestion of lack, not once, but constantly, rhythmically, boldly. Now hear the word. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Do you see? The very nature of divine guidance is provision. If God is leading, then lack cannot follow. Want is not part of the divine equation. So if you are living in constant financial strain, it is not because you are cursed. It is because your mind has not been trained to expect supply. Your words have not yet taken root in truth. But that ends today. For the moment you say, I shall not want, and say it with holy certainty, the law activates, the storehouse opens, the vibration shifts, and money begins to come. I must tell you plainly, your lack is not because you are undeserving. Your delay is not divine punishment. Your struggle is not spiritual warfare. It is simply a misalignment with law. You have unknowingly accepted the world's hypnosis. You must work harder. You must wait longer. You must get lucky. You must speak. You must align. You must train your mind to expect what is already yours in spirit. Think of it like a radio frequency. The wealth you desire is already playing. But if your mental dial is set to worry, fear, or unworthiness, you cannot hear it. You must tune yourself to the channel of divine provision. And the way you tune is with your tongue. Your declarations are your tuning fork. Your affirmations are your alignment. And when you stay on frequency, wealth flows, not in trickles, but in waves. Not through effort, but through expression. From this moment on, I want you to replace every complaint with a command, every fear with a formula, every doubt with a declaration. When the voice of the world says, be realistic, you say, I walk in supernatural supply. When your bank account reports lack, you do not react in panic. You declare, this is already resolved in the invisible. When you hear of inflation, recession, or decline, you say, God is my banker, and he never fails. This is how you begin to train your mind for wealth, not by logic, not by hustle, but by the law of substitution and the law of prosperity, spoken in faith and sealed with rhythm. So now I ask you, what law have you been serving? The law of man or the law of God? The law of appearances or the law of abundance? If your mind has been loyal to limitation, it is time to break that loyalty. If your tongue has repeated lack, it is time to declare a new economy. One built not on effort, but on essence. Not on savings, but on spirit. Not on markets, but on mind. The wealth you desire already exists. The money you need is already accounted for. The supply you seek is already stored in the invisible, and your only work is to speak the word that releases it. Now that the law is clear, let us begin the training, for it is not enough to agree with truth. You must practice it. Not occasionally, not emotionally, but daily, rhythmically. Just as the body is trained through repetition, so too the soul must be brought into divine discipline. I give you now your morning wealth ritual, for what you speak at sunrise will command the substance of your day. Your declarations in the morning do not simply motivate you, they instruct the invisible to rise in obedience. The first words of your day should never be complaint. They should never be, I'm tired, or I'm behind, or I hope today goes better. These are not harmless phrases. They are miscreations. The law responds not to mood, but to command. Therefore, you must rise and speak your wealth into motion. You must tell the spirit what kind of day you are walking into. You must call your supply out of hiding, not because it resists you, but because it waits for your voice. So I give you this phrase. Let it be your foundation. Unexpected channels of supply now open to me. Speak it aloud before your feet touch the floor. Say it while brushing your teeth. Say it while pouring your coffee. Let it become the first vibration your house hears. You are not asking, you are authorizing. You are saying to Divine Mind, I am ready for the new. I am ready for the unseen. I release all limitations and welcome the miraculous. You must understand, money is not your source. It is a vehicle. It is a form. The true supply is invisible, infinite, and immediate. But it takes the shape of your belief. The clearer your command, the faster the form arrives. So when your physical eyes see an empty account, you do not bow to the appearance. You deny it. You speak over it. You say, though this number looks low, I know my storehouse is full. You do not wait for proof to feel wealthy. You declare wealth until proof must appear. Let me tell you of a woman who was deeply behind on her rent. Her eyes were on the deadline. Her heart was heavy with fear. But I instructed her to release the panic and begin to declare, divine supply is never late. She said it morning and night. She refused to argue with the appearance. And 2 days before the rent was due, a relative she hadn't spoken to in years called to send her money for no reason. The world will call this coincidence, but I call it spiritual alignment. She spoke, and the law obeyed. Now you must begin the same. For the next 3 days, speak the following affirmations each morning, not as a ritual, not with doubt, but as one who knows the law is in motion the moment the word is spoken. Day 1. Every bill is paid by Divine Mind, even if the due date looms, even if the money is not in hand, even if fear tries to mock you. Say it louder. Say it firmer. This is your spiritual signature. When you say, every bill is paid by Divine Mind, you are placing your trust not in income, but in infinite supply. Day 2. I welcome unexpected wealth. This is how you open the unseen gates. Do not limit yourself to salary, to clients, to business. Wealth can come from any direction when your mind is trained to receive. Say this until you feel the atmosphere shift. Say it until the tension releases. Say it until the unexpected becomes your norm. Day 3. Money is not my master. I am money's commander. You are not here to be enslaved by expense. You are not here to survive. You are here to govern. You are here to direct energy. Money is not a god. It is a tool. And when you speak as one who walks in dominion, money hears your voice. It moves. It flows. It arrives, not to test you, but to serve you. Let these declarations become the architecture of your mornings. They will do more than soothe. They will summon. They will break old patterns and build new paths. They will train your subconscious to expect wealth as natural, as daily, as inevitable. For what you call into each day will rise to meet you, and the world that seemed closed will begin to open, not by coincidence, but by law. Speak, train, declare. The mind that is ruled by spirit becomes a magnet for substance, and the soul that refuses to speak lack becomes a lighthouse for supply. The evening is as sacred as the morning. What you impress upon your mind before sleep goes directly into the subconscious, where it multiplies silently through the night. If you end your day rehearsing fear, worry, or scarcity, you are planting seeds of limitation while your conscious defenses are down. And so, I tell you plainly, Guard the gate at sundown. The hours before sleep are the workshop of your future. Do not let them be overtaken by dread or doubt. Do not let the appearances of the day cast long shadows into your dreams. Instead, end every evening with a declaration of divine wealth. Speak into the silence, release the vibration, and let spirit do its hidden work while you rest. As you lay your head upon the pillow, do not review what is missing. Do not relive what went wrong. Speak only what you choose to multiply. Wealth is not only attracted by daytime declarations, it is installed in the secret hours by the word that lingers after the world has gone quiet. So begin by forgiving the day. Forgive the appearance of delay. Forgive yourself for any anxious thought, and replace it all with this line. Every appearance of lack is a lie. I forgive it and replace it. This is your nightly cleansing. It is not passive, it is powerful. It scrubs the soul of scarcity and prepares the mind for spiritual impression. Then you speak this. Tonight, divine supply multiplies in silence. Say it gently, but with certainty. This is not a wish. It is an activation. While you sleep, the subconscious does not rest. It creates. It attracts. It arranges. And the thoughts you handed in the final minutes of wakefulness become the blueprint it builds from. If you say, I don't know how I'll make it, then it builds more confusion. But if you say, supply multiplies while I sleep, then the law goes to work, shaping form around your faith. Now I give you 4 declarations, one for each night of this next phase of training. These are not bedtime affirmations to soothe the mind. These are spiritual commands to reprogram the soil. Day 4. I now receive lavish abundance. Not small relief. Not barely enough. Lavish. Overflowing. Extravagant. There is no virtue in scraping by. Spirit does not delight in your struggle. The universe holds more wealth than you could spend in 1,000 lifetimes, and it moves in response to your vibration. Say this line until every cell of your being believes it is safe to receive more than you've ever imagined. Day 5. The doors of wealth are always open to me. Do not believe the lie of limited opportunity. Do not submit to the illusion of closed doors. When one shuts, another opens, but only to those who keep speaking. Wealth does not operate by man's schedule. It operates by spiritual receptivity. The doors are open when your faith is open. Speak this until you no longer look for permission. Say it until you feel the air shift, the channel widen, the room expand. Day 6. What I need comes quickly and freely. Stop expecting delay. Stop rehearsing difficulty. Spirit is not slow and supply is not stingy. Declare that your needs are already met. Say it before your eyes see it. Declare it when the deadline looms. This affirmation breaks the addiction to struggle. It removes the pride of earning and replaces it with the humility of receiving. Day 7. I am aligned with the law of increase. This is not a momentary fix. It is a permanent rhythm. Your entire being must walk in increase. Speak this line as your signature. Let it become your identity. Let it echo through every transaction, every decision, every encounter. When you align with increase, decrease becomes impossible. When you declare expansion, contraction cannot stay. Let these nighttime declarations become your spiritual lullabies. Let them sing you into abundance. Let them cradle you in expectancy. You are not drifting into sleep. You are being programmed for prosperity. You are not winding down. You are winding up the divine machinery of manifestation. And when you rise, the wealth will begin to show itself, not because it was newly created, but because your mind finally became a worthy host. You are not waiting on money. Money is waiting on your word, and your word must now govern both the rising and the resting, morning and night. Command and receive. Speak it, sleep in it, and let the law work while you dream. Now we descend beneath the words and into the roots. For what you speak with the mouth must also be believed by the subconscious mind. The tongue initiates the command, but it is the subconscious that shapes the form. And many of you have been speaking truth while still rooted in lies. You have declared wealth, but believed in struggle. You have spoken increase, yet still expected lack. You have said, I receive, but prepared for rejection. This is not failure, it is programming. And what was programmed by repetition can be reprogrammed by truth. You were taught that money is hard to earn, that riches come to the few, that good people struggle and only the greedy prosper. But I say to you, none of these ideas come from divine mind. They are cultural spells, family echoes, societal myths. And now they must be broken. You do not inherit your financial future from your bloodline. You inherit it from your belief line, and your belief must now change. Let us take an old phrase you may have heard 1,000 times. Money doesn't grow on trees. This was meant to teach you caution, but it taught you contraction. It whispered lack into your young spirit. It etched the illusion of limitation into your soul. But let us now substitute it with spiritual reality. Money grows from spiritual law, and the law is rooted in me. This is the new tree. This is the true growth. This is the shift from superstition to substance, from folklore to faith. Another deadly phrase, I can't afford that. You say it casually, thoughtlessly. You use it to explain decisions, to justify denial. But every time you speak it, you are engraving scarcity into your mind. You are announcing to the universe that you are unsupported, that you are undernourished, that your source is small. So replace it immediately and permanently with, if this is mine by divine right, the supply appears now. Do not argue, do not calculate, just declare, and the law will arrange itself to either bring it or replace it with something greater. There is one more belief we must address. The hidden shame around wanting money. So many spiritual souls whisper their desires as if wealth were sinful or selfish. But I say again, there is no virtue in lack. There is no holiness in insufficiency. You cannot serve the world in fullness while living in fear of bills. You cannot pour into others when your own cup is empty. You must walk in abundance, not for greed, but for God. For when the righteous prosper, the world is blessed. Now I give you a tool. Use it every time a thought of lack arises. I call it the CRC formula. Cancel, replace, command. Cancel the lie. Say aloud, I cancel that. Speak it with force. Interrupt the old mental groove. Replace the thought. Install a higher truth. For example, there's never enough becomes, I walk in more than enough. Command the atmosphere. Seal it with a final declaration. Every cell of my being attracts divine wealth. You will use this formula not once, but repeatedly. You will override, override, override. Just as a worn path in the forest can be abandoned and replaced by a new trail, so too can your mental roads be reformed, but it will take consistency, reverence, faith. Let me give you a holy picture. Your mind is a field. Every thought is a seed. The field does not care whether you plant wheat or weeds. It grows what you plant. And the harvest always arrives in proportion to the belief. If you sow doubt, you reap delay. If you sow truth, you reap demonstration. The subconscious is not your enemy. It is your servant, but it serves whatever master is loudest and most consistent. So, begin now. Say it aloud. Say it often. Say it until your voice becomes your vibration. I cancel the thought of lack. I replace it with divine wealth. I command the atmosphere to yield my supply. This is not emotionalism. This is reprogramming. This is spiritual neurology. This is law applied through rhythm and word. Do not fear the old patterns. Speak over them. Do not mourn the years spent in mental poverty. Redeem them by declaring wealth now. The mind is not fixed. It is fertile, and today you plant riches in its soil. Now that you've exposed and canceled the beliefs of lack, the time has come to replace them entirely with the rhythm of divine wealth. Reprogramming is not a one-time epiphany. It is a daily, hourly, moment-by-moment dedication to truth. You must saturate the mind with divine increase until fear cannot breathe, until doubt withers from lack of attention, until the old grooves are smoothed out and overwritten with the gold-lined tracks of spiritual dominion. You do not wait for your emotions to agree. You do not delay until circumstances shift. You begin now, with repetition as your vehicle and truth as your driver. I tell you again, the subconscious accepts repetition as reality. It does not argue. It does not reason. It receives. And once it receives a command spoken with rhythm, it begins to shape your outer world to match it. This is the secret of all demonstration, not effort, but alignment. Let us begin with this powerful affirmation. The wealth I expect, I receive. Speak it slowly. Speak it again. You are no longer begging for money. You are no longer wondering how or when. You are expecting, and that expectation becomes the mold for your manifestation. You are the vessel, and expectation is the open top. When you expect in truth, you receive in form. Now we go deeper. Say this with me. Money comes easily and constantly. This declaration breaks the ancient spell of financial strain. It dissolves the belief that money only comes through exhaustion or chance. It tells the subconscious that wealth is not rare. It is rhythmic. It is a flow, a movement, a vibration. And when spoken often enough, the mind begins to agree. The body begins to relax, and the world begins to rearrange. Then say, my wealth flows from divine favor, not force. This is the rebalancing of your energetic economy. You are no longer relying on hustle, performance, or perfection. You are relying on divine law, and law never needs to be pushed. It needs only to be obeyed. Favor is not luck. Favor is alignment. When you walk in spiritual rhythm, things begin to open for you. People offer, money finds, opportunities locate you, not because you earned them, but because you declared them. Here is a sacred truth. I deserve abundance because I am divine idea made manifest. Say this until the shame breaks, until the resistance softens, until the guilt of receiving dissolves into light. You are not manipulating the law. You are fulfilling it. You are not taking what is not yours. You are claiming what has been waiting for your voice. When you declare your divine identity, the world begins to mirror your majesty. Let me tell you a living parable. A man once came to me discouraged. He had tried every method, worked long hours, said affirmations, but always with doubt behind them. I told him, stop begging and start commanding. Stop rehearsing fear and start rehearsing favor. I gave him this simple shift. Every time he worried, he was to say, all my needs are now met by divine supply. He wrote it, spoke it, slept with it. Within weeks, he was offered a position he hadn't applied for, at double the salary. Why? Because the law does not delay when the word is established. He trained his mind into expectancy, and expectancy pulled the form into view. Now you must do the same. The next time you feel fear about money, do not react. Respond with command. Say, I walk in supernatural provision. The next time you feel overlooked, say, I am divinely remembered and richly rewarded. The next time you feel behind, say, I am on divine schedule and all things flow to me now. Write these affirmations. Speak them hourly. Set alarms on your phone. Whisper them while walking. Declare them while working. These are not empty words. They are signals to spirit. They are frequencies that shape form. They are your covenant, your contract, your code. And above all, remember this. Speak until the old voice of lack has no air left. Do not wait for the doubt to disappear. Drown it in declaration. Do not ask, is this working? Ask, am I obeying the law? Because the law never forgets a command. The moment your vibration matches your desire, wealth appears. The moment your mind stays faithful to truth, manifestation becomes motion. You are not cursed. You are not behind. You are not invisible. You are now tuned to the frequency of favor. You are now walking in the rhythm of wealth, and your world is beginning to reflect the word you've been speaking. Now comes the line in the sand. Now comes the moment where inspiration becomes instruction, where you decide whether this word becomes your new way of being or fades into another forgotten truth. The law does not respond to curiosity. It responds to command. Spirit does not move because you are inspired. Spirit moves because you are in alignment. And alignment is action. Alignment is agreement. Alignment is repetition. You must not only believe the law works, you must live as if it already has. You cannot go back to neutral speech. You cannot drift into casual complaint. You cannot afford the luxury of declaring lack and calling it honesty. There is no honesty in illusion. There is only agreement. And if you speak lack even for a moment, you re-enter a contract with the old world. But if you remain in your covenant of wealth, your words will become substance, your belief will become form, and your atmosphere will rise to meet the vibration of your voice. So I give you this charge. For the next 14 days, you will train your mind with fire. You will not entertain scarcity, not even silently. You will not discuss your problems unless it is to declare their resolution. You will not look at your bank account and say, "This isn't enough." You will say, "This is a temporary appearance, and it is now replaced by divine surplus." You will walk as one who is already funded. You will talk as one who is already supplied. Each morning, you will rise and say, "My channels are open." You will say it before checking your phone, before speaking to another soul. You will give the law its instruction, and because you do, new ideas, new income, new favor will be magnetized to you, not because you manipulated the system, but because you obeyed the rhythm. Each midday, whether at work, at home, or in stillness, you will speak this line: "Money follows me." Let it interrupt your old pattern. Let it cancel the thought of strain. Say it aloud in the car. Whisper it in the hallway. Write it in your journal. Because what you say consistently, you become magnetically aligned to. Each night before sleep, you will say, "All is provided." This closes your day in spiritual certainty. It ends the wandering. It seals your frequency. The subconscious will take this line and go to work while you rest. Angels will be dispatched. Ideas will be born. Circumstances will shift. All because you ended the day with a divine decree. Let me say this clearly. The next 2 weeks are not about trying. They are about training, not about wishing, about walking. You will not say, "I'm going to try this and see what happens." You will say, "For 14 days, I speak wealth. I reject lack. I walk in covenant. I demonstrate divine substance." You are not small. You are not stuck. You are not someone who merely hopes. You are someone who commands. You are not a follower of trends. You are a master of law, and law responds to boldness. Law follows instruction. Law bends to the one who refuses to bend back into limitation. So go forward now, not cautiously, but prophetically. Speak the end from the beginning. Call in the riches. Deny the lie. Enforce the covenant. For the wealth has already been created, and it now waits on one thing, the voice that dares to declare. Let us now seal this truth with fire. Let us speak as lawgivers, not beggars. Let us summon the unseen with rhythm and authority. These are not affirmations for your journal. These are declarations for your soul. Each one is a hammer breaking the shell of limitation. Each one is a seed that guarantees harvest. You will not whisper them. You will roar them in spirit. You will say them not to feel better, but to call the law into motion. Now speak this with your whole being. I am a magnet for divine money. You are not waiting to deserve. You are not hoping to receive. You are magnetizing supply through the purity of your word. You are drawing wealth not by charm, but by covenant. Say it again. I receive wealth from seen and unseen sources. You are no longer limited to one income stream. You are no longer confined to what the mind can track. Spirit will send money through strangers, refunds, inheritance, ideas, favor, and miracles. You will be surprised, but never unprepared. Say this: all that I need, I now possess. Not tomorrow, not once the invoice clears. Now the substance of your good exists in the invisible and moves toward form the moment you speak it. You are not speaking to create, you are speaking to reveal. Now declare, there is no delay in divine supply. Whatever appears slow is only the rearrangement of form. Divine supply is never late, never stuck, never reluctant. When you say, now, the law responds, yes. Say this with command: I walk in supernatural provision. You are not here to make ends meet. You are here to walk in overflow. The supernatural is your normal. The uncommon is your rhythm. The law is your economy. And now, the final affirmation. Say it slowly. Let it echo in the chambers of your being. Let it uproot every remaining remnant of fear. My wealth is unlimited, because my source is infinite. Let this be your conclusion. Let this be your song. Let this be the new currency of your mind. You are no longer hoping. You are no longer asking. You are no longer proving. You are walking. You are receiving. You are becoming. And the law says yes. If this message lit something inside you, if it cracked a shell, if it silenced a lie, if it stirred the knowing that you were never meant to struggle, then let it not pass through you and fade. Let it become your new rhythm. Let it be your covenant of increase. You are not a visitor to this truth. You are its keeper. You are its steward. And wealth is not something you wait for anymore. It is something you walk in, declare in, and live in from this moment forward. If this word met you in your wilderness, if it reminded you that the fog of lack was never yours to begin with, then let your voice echo back. Write your declaration in the comments, not for me, but for you. Let the universe hear your word made visible. Type it, speak it, declare it. I now walk in divine wealth, or my wealth is unlimited, or whatever line became your sword today. When you write it, you anchor it. When you share it, you affirm it. And when you do, others are lifted into the same remembrance. If this channel feels like your sanctuary, your upper room of truth, then remain close. Subscribe not out of habit, but as a declaration of alignment. Let every video be your training. Let every word be your rehearsal. Let this space be your daily immersion in spiritual law. There are many voices in the world, but few speak the pure rhythm of divine substance. If you found it here, then guard it, nurture it, return to it, and above all, come back tomorrow. Each day for the next 14 days, return to this teaching. Watch it again if you must. Re-speak the affirmations. Reinstall the declarations. Do not let the momentum fade. This is not entertainment. This is initiation. This is not inspiration. This is instruction. This is your divine wealth reformation, and you must treat it like the holy work it is. You are not random. You are not behind. You are not outside the covenant. You are the demonstration of divine supply in motion. You are the living proof that God is not limited, that law is not partial, that wealth is not withheld. You are the voice through which abundance becomes visible, and every time you speak in rhythm with truth, the universe says, so it is. You are not becoming wealthy. You are now aligned with wealth, and everything you need is already yours.